Despite all of the things that divide us, most fans would agree that the Old Republic is by far one of the greatest eras of Star Wars. What makes it so? Why does this timeline resonate with so many fans? Who are the characters that define the era? And what makes them so special? And the cameras do take a little bit to load. That's the only
We're going
thing.
to come back. There we go.
That's all. That's
Red
the
5
only-
standing by.
We're coming out of light speed.
Breaking news. Yes, King. Breaking news. All right. So yeah, my favorite. I mean, listen, I come at this. I don't know if I don't even think I even said anything about this, but I am the CEO of a gaming company, game development company. And so I'm deeply involved in the game development industry and in a lot of the video games that are put out there from Respawn, EA primarily, and I do work for BioWare and stuff like that, but mostly I find what's called staff augmentation is really what I do. So studios will have X number of in-house resources, and then they'll need to like augment that with contractors. And so I'm the one that they come to for that, right? But and what they do with me personally is they'll contract me to do story consulting, okay? And so so that's kind of like my background. And so to talk a little bit about Knights of the Old Republic. I love that game.
Good old KOTOR.
I love that game. I just love that game. I love the story of that game. I love everything about it. And then I love Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO game. That's amazing with all the cinematics that they put out are so clutch. Like those cinematics, you're just like, why can't we have this in our movies? Like, what is going on?
And they have you can go on YouTube and watch that. It's like it's almost like 45 minutes. It's the Old Republic cinematics movie. It is incredible.
It really
Incredible.
is. It really, really is. And so I think if there's anything like I said, I don't think I've ever met a fan that has not been a fan of the Old Republic. Even the new ones, they'll be like, oh, I started liking Star Wars with The Force Awakens, and then I looked up, I was like, thumbling through YouTube, right? And I found these cinematics, and boy, are they wonderful. Like, and then you get the people like me that are original trilogy babies, and they're like, hey, yeah, bro, you may have been looking at YouTube videos. I was actually playing the games, right? So I think that is like kind of like the common ground factor there. And for me, there's just, Darth Revan, the almighty Darth Revan.
Oh, baby.
Your boy.
That is probably, that's my third favorite character. My first one is, of course, he's on this panel, Anakin Skywalker. And the second one is Ben Solo. I actually really love Ben Solo. And so, give me a Darksider, like a Jedi that falls and comes back, and I'm in love. So.
Yeah.
But let's talk.
I've been known to dabble.
You've been known to dabble. Yes. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the big man in the room. The big villain. X.
Yes. I just, what? I feel like Trey Parker and Matt Stone at the Oscars. What an incredible opportunity. What a beautiful night. It's so incredible.
Wasn't they high on when they on Valium or something?
They took acid
Like
and they put dresses on. Yeah, this is totally something I would do at an award ceremony. But no, it's so cool because when you look at the Old Republic compared to the prequels, compared to the original trilogy, it's kind of fun because you have your sort of like based, grounded storytelling in the original trilogy. You move to the prequels and it's like a little bit more fantastic. It's a little more crazy, but you got the Jedi at kind of the height of their power. And so you get to see them using Jedi powers that you would never see Luke Skywalker use in the original trilogy. Then you go to the Old Republic and like, this is the myth. This is the Knights of the Round Table. This is, King Arthur and Lancelot, like these crazy, awesome, embellished stories of these massive wars with insanely powerful Sith, insanely powerful Jedi going head to head. And it really kind of fulfills that itch of Star Wars fans to see like, what if we took this thing and turned it up to 99? And that's what I love about the Old Republic is it's Star Wars, but it's like you turn that thing up to 11 and let's just see what happens.
Yes,
like, what can we do?
Yeah.
And so
they used a medium that was great for it too. Right?
Yeah, when you use that when you use that CG, you can do things you could never do with live actors. You can create fleets that are so all these different things, and there are echoes of the original trilogy in the Old Republic. You still have the Han Solo character, you still have the Leia, you still have the Luke Skywalker, you have all these different people, but the lines are so blurred and they're muddied in this gigantic,
beautifully so.
Yeah, beautifully so in this gigantic civil war, but it is still firmly rooted in the good and the evil. And that's why I hate when people say there's like gray Jedi and stuff like that, because the Old Republic was very much, if you use the dark side, it will corrupt you. It will transform you into this monster. And if you stay in the light, you will be a Jedi. And so it was very defined in that way. And it's just got an old, like an Old Testament feel to it. And that's what I love about the Old Republic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That was long-winded. I apologize.
No. I love it. How many of you guys, besides like myself, I mean, I'm old, right? I'm 48. I don't look it. But,
Not old.
but I am 48. But how many of you guys actually have played the Knights of the Old Republic video games?
No.
I never did.
It
Look at that.
rivals
The
it rivals the turn in Empire. The surprise in that game rivals the turn in Empire.
1,000,000%, yeah.
Tyler, that surprises me. I thought you would have done. But no.
Yeah. I can't believe, Zach, you actually played that, because, I mean, most young people don't.
No,
it's kinda hard
yeah.
Because it's kind of
I
hard to
played
navigate
it-
and so on, right?
Yeah, I played it when probably about the end of high school, and Bastila was like, I had a huge crush on Bastila.
Oh,
and so
100%.
It took me 3 playthroughs to romance her because I kept doing it wrong. Like, she friend zoned me the first time, and then the second time she didn't like me because I went dark side, and then finally I did it on the 3rd time. But yeah.
Yep. Blew my pants off. That's exactly right. That's pretty funny. King.
I think there's a particular kind of like video game person that likes that. I mean, like your boilerplate Bethesda game player likes that kind of stuff. It's a very open world. You make decisions that affect you down the road, but eventually it ends up in the same spot.
Yeah, it's so great. It's such a great journey. Such an amazing story, and such a great like way of storytelling it. Right? I love. Did you guys play both? Did you play for the 1 and 2?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on Switch, by the way. They're ported on Switch.
Yeah.
So if you want to play them, play them
Yeah.
now, because I think, I could be mistaken, but I think we're going to start looking at that as a place. As, I don't know if Disney will, but.
Well, there is the KOTOR remake.
Yeah.
And while that has struggled, very much struggled, it's still pretty much something that they do want to do. And they are not, and I can say this, they are not changing the story. So thank God.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was rumored they were changing it, right? That was
not
like the
changing
big
the story.
conversation.
They're not changing the story,
the
but
conversation
they
was that they hired a writer to rewrite the story.
Oh.
That was the big controversy. There was an article that they hired a writer to rewrite the story, but that's
Right.
since been
debunked.
Yeah.
Right? So we do hire writers when we do a remake, because we have to have, there's quest writing and things like that we want to update and whatnot. But I will say that some of the things that we can change is like, and yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, here we go again. Right? But some gender, swapping and things like that. To make it more,
Oh, that's what it was.
quote unquote diverse, right? Quote unquote diverse. I mean, I'm so tired of that word. I'm a leftist liberal. Like, I'm not all the way left. I'm actually quite moderate, but I'm a Democrat, and I totally believe in all that kind of stuff. It's just been too much, yeah. Like, wait, we have gone too far. And I don't want to talk too much about politics, because that's not really what this channel's for. But I just it's fine that is happening. If it's subtle enough, it's not going to bother me at all. But what really would bother me is if we just like up and totally told a different story.
Well, Star Wars fans love strong female characters.
We've had them
Tell me
since
I'm
day
wrong.
one.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
hello.
tell me I'm wrong.
Carrie Fisher, thank you so much.
Yeah, as long as it's written well, right? If it's at the detriment of sacrificing a good story, then of course people are gonna hate on it. And then when you fucking label it as, yeah, it's not.
It is.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
It-
I'm tired of being angry about it. I'm fine.
Yeah, absolutely. and so for me, it was like, okay, so please do not mess with the story. It's brilliant the way it is. And the thing is about it is you know, we recognize that it's a brilliant story. Like, I think game developers, I gotta tell you, I think game developers, if any of us really turned into like full-fledged filmmakers, we'd be a powerhouse.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because we can write really good stories. I mean, look at The Last of Us, right? Or you know, I mean, Fallen Order. Can we talk about Fallen Order?
Jedi Survivor was like pretty spot on.
Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of people, you know, at least an 8 for that game. I know that Fallen Order got a little higher in the ratings for that. But, you know, I mean, you kind of expect a second game to kind of come down a little bit. I don't think it came down for me personally. I mean, Fallen Order for me is a 9.5. And Survivor for me is like a 9. Honestly. I mean, there was a couple, I didn't quite like the whole High Republic being kind of like forced in there, so I'm with you on that. Yes, I'm with you on that. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't. And the thing is that even though they did that, it wasn't intrusive. Like I didn't feel like it was like intrusive into the story at all.
Well, the thing about game developers is that you have to write a 40-hour-long interactive movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know why I never thought of this. Yeah, game developers need to be writing the movies. You have to do a 40-hour movie. Mm-hmm. These Hollywood elitists writing these sequel trilogies only how to do 3 hours.
Exactly. So I am quite ready. And so one of the things that is like super cool for me is being able to bring Emperor Vitiate into this movie. Because what do you do with a villain that cannot die?
Keep fighting him.
Right?
So this was the cool part about what we talked about earlier, where like the bloodline continues, and so long as there is light, the dark will rise to meet it. If the dark rises, the light will continue to rise to meet it. And so, yeah, what do you do with a guy who basically can't die? I mean, this is essentially look, I'm not putting this down at all, but this is very much like a Voldemort type character, except way harder to kill. Like way harder to kill. Yeah. And has been here for far longer than somebody like Voldemort could be. So, you know, it's so interesting to see this power in the universe that has been there since. I mean, we're talking about sticks and like rocks and mud huts days of the Force, like way, 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 way back, all the way now into, you know, essentially the new age of the universe. And it totally made sense for me as soon as you said that Vitiate was coming back, that this would be the most logical villain to come back in this time frame. Who else could it be? I mean, it's even stated in the movie. I'm not going to say the line, but I mean, really, who else could it be?
Yeah.
Who else? There was no other Sith that was capable of it. You had guys that were close. I mean, Darth Bane, you could say Darth Bane got close with his essence transfer, and maybe there are portions of him that still basically live in the universe to this day. But when it comes to complete and so, you know, complete and total dominion overall, there's only one guy that's ever been able to do that.
Yep, I totally agree. And so I'm super excited for him. You know, one of the things about him is
Did you see what Dog just said?
What?
Voldemort couldn't even take over a high school.
Or a K-12 school.
That's true. That's true. That's actually really true. So, you know, I feel like, you know, just he is the next logical sense, you know, and who doesn't want to see him come back? Like, honestly, he was just such a pivotal part of the Old Republic story, especially SWTOR. I mean, he's such a presence in that game. And you know, you know, like, gosh, we could go on forever. And the way he comes back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A lot of people aren't going to know who he is, though. Right, and so that's kind of an important thing, is reintroducing him and letting him know, like, who is this guy? And you know, obviously show don't tell, but there will be a portion that basically lets you know, like, who is this dude? Where has he been? What has he been doing? Like, what?
Yeah, there's
what
gonna be a
is
ton
this
of people that have
Yeah.
no idea who he is.
They have
right?
no
Yeah.
idea who he is.
No
And
Old
so-
Republic knowledge, nothing, right? So it's
Yeah,
gonna be interesting
and
to see
that's
how
going to
they
be
react.
really, really exciting for us as a team to like put that together because I mean it is pretty dark. I'm gonna warn people. It's pretty dark, but we love a good dark Star Wars. Now, don't we?
Lightsabers actually remove limbs here.
Like we didn't even have to get permission.
Yeah.
Because yes, Respawn had to get permission to add that. By the way. So. So.
They don't just bounce off a stormtrooper armor like Kenobi.
Absolutely.
Shh, we
And
don't
you know.
speak of that.
And I can't wait for everybody to like really see how we bring him back because it's very interesting. I mean, you know, he's not just immediately back and like, you know, super
Yeah.
powerful.
Somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somehow. There's no
This isn't
somehow.
a he's been on a
Somehow.
random planet for 5,000 years.
Years.
Like, no, none of that.
No.
Go play
I mean,
KOTOR.
Go play KOTOR because you will know that he was encased in freaking carbonite, right? But
Yeah.
if there's anyone that would like, you know, have the will to like, you know, push through that, it's gonna be him. And just the way, and you see his journey, you see the character arc, and you see the growth in him because he's having to acquire certain things to make him be able to be the Emperor Vitiate we know. It's
Yeah.
he's not automatically there, and he is you know kind of like intertwined with another person who isn't force sensitive. So there's a lot of limitations to him, which make it very interesting, you know. So really can't wait for that to kind of come to fruition.